Drunk fiance cheated in bathroom while we were at a party. In February of this year, my fiance and I had just celebrated our 2-year anniversary as well as Valentine's Day. We were in a great spot. We always were. We have always had a beautiful and deep relationship and can't get enough of each other. My fiance is an extremely sensitive guy. He's attentive and very emotionally available. He never goes out with his mates, or if he does, he begs that I come along with him because he just loves having me around. He has worked at the same place for 10 years now and was changing careers. So, they were having a farewell at his current workplace. He is a manager who has a great relationship with all of his colleagues. Prior to our relationship, he tended to date lots of women whom he worked with. He would also call me at work, and him and his female colleagues would be in the background commenting on our relationship, about how much he loved me and that he was punching above his weight, and also how he was a good stepfather to my children. Here is where it all falls to shit. He desperately wants me to come to his farewell. He has been begging me daily for weeks. I personally am not keen on the idea because I am a bit socially anxious, and I feel it should be his moment with his colleagues, not him having to introduce me to a bunch of people I won't even see again. He pleads with me and says he will book us a hotel since the city where he works is 2 hours away from home. So I reluctantly decide to go. We get to the hotel. He brings a male colleague to have some drinks before we go to the farewell. This relaxed me, and I became excited for the night ahead. I go to the farewell and meet all of his colleagues. They all clearly adore him. He's just one of those guys. He's a people person, charismatic, with an infectious personality, and just a fucking nice person. No ego about him at all. You could tell everybody was truly devastated he was leaving. He is proudly showing me off to all of his colleagues, and I end up sitting at a table with a few females. I didn't know a lot of people here, but Jessica had come up previously. I had previously seen some work emails between my fiancé and her, which were somewhat flirty. Lots of emojis, and my fiancé wrote in one of them, "Thanks, my love." I brought this up with him because I felt it was inappropriate. If I had a boss and he called me my love, that wouldn't sit well with me. He apologized and said this was just how he interacted with lots of females at his workplace, more so with the 50 to 60-year-old women he managed. However, the terminology had slipped into an interaction with a 22-year-old. I was very put off by it, but it absolutely is how he speaks to people. And also, this girl was not somebody I was intimidated by, nor did I think he would be attracted to her. That is the only context I have to their relationship before this occasion. While sitting at the table with her, my fiancé sits with his hand in my lap, touching me and trying to make sure I'm comfortable, and I am observing her mannerisms. She is playing with her hair and constantly adjusting her dress around her breasts, and being generally flirtatious with my partner. I just see this as a typical work crush that a young female has on her older male boss. As the night progresses, everybody is feeding my fiancé drink after drink. He hasn't binge drunk since we have been together, and I didn't think he was too intoxicated. However, he was having shots, some of which Jessica purchased for him and I. I am just feeling like I can't really get drunk, and that I am being a drag on his big night. I tell him I want to go back to the hotel and let him enjoy the rest of his night with his friends, and he begs me to stay. This happens a few times, until I eventually get an Uber. He walks me to the Uber and kisses me, tells me how much he adores me, thanks me for coming, and tells me he won't be too far behind me getting back to the hotel. As a joke, I say, "Don't go cheating on me with Jessica," to which we both laugh. He's like, "Absolutely not. I love you too much." A few hours later, he is carried into our hotel room by 3 colleagues, 1 male and 2 females, none of which were Jessica. He is completely out of it and was throwing up until morning. I have never seen him like this. I had to leave the hotel early to pick up my kids from their dads. As I'm leaving the hotel, I get a text from an unknown person. The context of this message turns my blood cold. It essentially says that my fiancé sexually assaulted his partner, Jessica. It's this long, horrible message about if I'm in a monogamous relationship, I need to know about my fiancé's behavior last night. Saying he took advantage of his status and sexually assaulted a vulnerable coworker. I asked him to immediately call me in order to tell me what happened. He eventually does. He says that Jessica returned home from the night out completely distressed, that at the start of the night, my fiancé made a comment about her looking hot, which made her uncomfortable, and she wanted to leave but decided not to. This person says that after I left, my fiancé dragged her into a bathroom, kissed her, and told her he wanted to fuck her. She tried to push him off and leaves the bathroom. Instead of leaving the venue, she then goes and sits in a booth with him and talks to him. Jessica's boyfriend says that there were witnesses and that my fiancé also did the same to other girls that night. I eventually speak to Jessica, who echoes what her boyfriend says. However, she says there was no other girls involved. She says he dragged her in the toilets and kissed her while she said, "What about your fiancé?" over and over. I am very kind to her and understanding. However, I do question why, if she was offended by him at the start of the night, then why did she stick around and buy drinks for us? She says that there were no comments at the start of the night and also says that there was absolutely no context to it and that she felt it was just a drunk spur of the moment. I speak to a witness from the night. They say it was her who led him into the toilets. I speak to witnesses from the night, and they all say it was her who led him into the toilets. However, his best friend says at one point he told my fiancé to stop flirting with Jessica, which she awkwardly laughed off, and this was before the restroom situation. When I confronted my fiancé about it, he didn't remember one single thing. His skin was yellow and he was vomiting for days. He tells me that before he met me, when he would drink, he would often black out and behave completely out of character, which is why he no longer drank during our relationship. He had never cheated before, but he would act violently and break things, get into fights, and such. Then wake up the next day unable to remember anything. This was all validated by his friends, and also, since speaking with a psychologist, he believes that due to the alcohol, his depression medication, and the history of alcoholism in his family, that it is a high possibility he truly doesn't remember. My fiancé vowed to stop drinking, whilst he barely did in the first place. He hasn't in 6 months. He allows me to see his phone, and he has cut ties with everybody from that workplace. He seems as completely heartbroken and confused about it as I was. Our relationship is good. He is patient and understanding. However, I am still constantly riddled with this sickening imagery of him in a bathroom with another woman trying to fuck her. It's been 6 months since, and I am still broken about it. Surely, he wouldn't beg for me to come to the farewell, and beg me to stay if he had any intent of cheating on me, would he? Other than this one isolated situation, he has been everything I've ever dreamt of.